Have you ever faced an impossible decision where every choice seems to lead to ruin? What if the path to true integrity lies not in easy answers, but in the unwavering courage to stand for what's right, no matter the personal cost? This story will challenge your notions of success and loyalty. Atticus's quiet roar. In the dusty, sun-baked town of Macomb, Alabama, where shadows stretched long and prejudices ran deeper, Atticus Finch stood as a quiet sentinel of justice. He was not a man of grand pronouncements or fiery speeches. His strength lay in his measured words, his unwavering moral compass, and the profound dignity with which he navigated a world often devoid of it. His children, Scout and Jem, saw him simply as their unassuming father, a man who read the newspaper in the evenings and possessed an uncanny ability to settle disputes with a few well-chosen words. They were too young to fully grasp the weight of the burden he carried, the constant struggle to uphold decency in a community steeped in ingrained racial bias. Yet even they sensed something different about their father, a quiet authority that set him apart. The assignment came unexpectedly, an appointment by Judge Taylor that would irrevocably alter the course of their lives and cast a searing light on the hypocrisy simmering beneath Macomb's genteel surface. Atticus was asked to defend Tom Robinson, a black man falsely accused of raping a white woman, Mayella Ewell. In Macomb, such an accusation, regardless of evidence, was a death sentence. To take on Tom's case was to invite the scorn and hatred of the very community he lived in, to tarnish his reputation, and to expose his children to a world of ugliness he had tried to shield them from. His colleagues whispered that he should simply go through the motions, that a lost cause was not worth jeopardizing his standing. But for Atticus, compromise was not an option when integrity was at stake. He knew the fight was unwinnable in the eyes of the prejudiced jury, but he also knew that to refuse would be to betray his own conscience and the very principles he lived by. He believed with an unshakable conviction that every man deserved a fair trial, and that truth, however inconvenient, must be given a voice. The decision to defend Tom Robinson cast a long shadow over the Finch household. Scout and Jem, through their innocent eyes, began to witness the raw, unvarnished bigotry of their neighbors. Ugly slurs were hurled, veiled threats were whispered, and the quiet comfort of their daily lives was replaced by an unsettling tension. Children at school mocked them, adults sneered. Yet through it all, Atticus remained steadfast. He explained to his children in simple, profound terms the concept of empathy, of walking in another man's skin. He taught them to stand their ground with quiet courage, not with fists, but with principles. He didn't preach, he lived his convictions, demonstrating what true bravery looked like. He faced down a lynch mob at the jailhouse, standing alone against a tide of angry men. His mere presence, coupled with Scout's naive intervention, enough to shame them into retreat. This was not a fight he sought, but one he could not refuse, for it was rooted in the very essence of justice itself. The trial itself was a masterclass in quiet courage. Atticus meticulously dismantled the prosecution's flimsy case, exposing the Ewells' lies, their poverty, and their deep-seated racism. He presented irrefutable evidence of Tom Robinson's innocence, his crippled arm making the alleged assault physically impossible. He spoke with logic, with compassion, and with an eloquence that cut through the thick air of prejudice. His closing argument was a powerful plea for justice, for the jury to set aside their preconceived notions and see Tom Robinson not as a black man, but as a human being worthy of respect and fair judgment. He laid bare the moral failing of their society, daring them to choose truth over tradition, justice over comfort. For a brief, shining moment, it felt as though reason might actually prevail, that the sheer weight of evidence and Atticus's profound moral appeal could sway even the most hardened hearts. Yet, despite the overwhelming evidence, despite Atticus's undeniable triumph in the courtroom, the verdict came back guilty. The injustice was crushing, a sickening punch to the gut that resonated through the courtroom and beyond. Tom Robinson, an innocent man, was condemned by the deeply ingrained biases of the jury. It was a brutal reminder that sometimes even the most valiant efforts against systemic injustice are not enough to immediately change the world. The children, devastated, saw the raw unfairness, the moral bankruptcy of their town. But even in defeat, Atticus found a way to embody resilience. He accepted the verdict with a heavy heart, but without despair, knowing he had done everything in his power, and that the fight for justice was a long one, often fought in inches, not miles. He had sown seeds, even if they wouldn't bear fruit today. The Black community, despite their heartbreak, recognized his effort. They stood as one when he left the courthouse, a silent tribute to a man who had dared to stand for them. Atticus had not changed the outcome of this specific trial, but he had, through his unwavering integrity, changed the hearts and minds of his children, and perhaps, subtly, the conscience of his community. His quiet roar echoed far beyond the courtroom, a testament to the enduring power of moral courage in the face of overwhelming odds.